Hey, it's Shannon, and welcome to my No Buy Year. Today, we are in a completely different filming location than usual. The light in my office was not cooperating, so we're in my living room, and we're gonna go through the empties from February. For those of you who've been following along, I'm doing a no buy year this year, which means I'm not buying clothing or accessories, skincare or makeup, fabric or yarn, books or homewares in 2024. So that's a lot of things, and it means that I'm getting through my stash a lot quicker because I'm not adding things to it constantly. So I thought we could go through all of the empties from February and talk about them a little bit. For those of you who saw my very first video, you know that I'm allowed to buy replacements. So I did get replacements for the things that I used up in January. But I used a lot more in the way of body care this month for some reason. I just took a couple of baths and had some spa time. And I think that's why I was using up so much more in the realm of body care as opposed to just regular skincare. So this month I used up 2 different products from Lavender Wind Farms, which is a lavender farm on Whidbey Island in the Pacific Northwest. And I used up their Island Bouquet Bubble Bath. And I also used up their purifying bath salts. So it's like Himalayan sea salts. And it looks like that. But I used up both of these. Like I said, I had a couple of bath, spa nights, ritual bath type things, and I love both of these products. I love the facial spray or the lavender spray. You can use it as facial spray or as a room spray. I keep some in my gym bag. It's just a lavender scented spray that I really like and use for a lot of different purposes. But I used both of these, and I am a big lavender person. Not everyone is like a lavender fan, but I quite like it. Just as like a calming and a sleep aid, and there are a lot of benefits to it. And while I'm growing my own lavender this year and I am drying it and doing that, I also love supporting people who are doing that as well. So I like to support other people and other local businesses, and the people who own this are lovely, and I've met them and they're a delight. I also used up the last of my Smith & Vandiver physical therapy bath bombs. So these are just bath bombs I got in a Christmas sock. It's really interesting to start cleaning out your stash, and once you start emptying out the things that you own, I find that I find things that I had put away to get them out of the way, or because I didn't have room for them, or because I wanted them to be in a specific spot with specific other things, and then I forget about them. I have this problem where if I can't see it, it doesn't exist. And so that means that a lot of my products simply didn't exist to me because I couldn't see them. And this was one of them. I found a whole stash of cleansers. So I ran out of cleanser in January last month, and I talked about that in my January empties video. And then I replaced it with a different brand. And then I found a stack of 2 or 3 different half-finished cleansers that were still good. I had just put them aside or put them away somewhere at some point. It might have been, I don't even remember why it was, but I put them away and then forgot they were there. So now I may never have to buy cleanser again. I will not need to replace cleanser for quite a while because now I have a backlog of 3 of them. So that being said, that is what happened with these. They disappeared because they were not able to be seen. These address sore muscles and joint pain, and they ease those a little bit. And I used to be an Irish step dancer, so that it makes a big difference for me. I have some sore joints and some sore ankles and knees and things like that, and I find that this kind of stuff helps. So that was very nice. They were pine scented, so like I said, I think they were like a Yule present, but I used them up. So mark it off the list. This was another body care holiday present. It was a lavender bubble bath, and I went to town on this bubble bath. I think I realized, I had a realization that I have not been using enough bubble bath because I wanted to save it. And so I wasn't using enough of it, and so I wasn't really getting the full benefit. And so when I used a lot of this, I was like, oh yeah, this is what I've been looking for. This is what I've been missing. So bubble bath. I think it's funny to go through this process because you're thinking so much more intentionally about what you're using when you can't buy something on a whim to add to the collection. And when you're thinking more intentionally about it, you start realizing how much product you're using. And in some cases, I was using way too much, and in some I was not using enough. So it's funny to think about those categories and how your level of consumption is suddenly so much more potent and so much more awareness driven when you are on no buy. This is a hair oil and a heat protectant, and it does a lot of beneficial things for your hair. My friend who's a stylist recommended it, and I actually really like this one. I feel like a lot of hair oils and sprays can weigh your hair down and make it feel oily and greasy, and I have oily hair, and so I feel like that even more is likely to happen to me, and I don't feel like that with this. This is very light, and it doesn't weigh your hair down, and it doesn't leave that sheen of oil on your hair like some sprays do, and so I quite like this, and I will probably replace this. I also ran out of my Time Wise Age Fighting Moisturizer. This is from Mary Kay. This is one of those that was couldn't be seen, so didn't exist. I found this last month and was like, well, it's almost out, I should use it up. But the number of things that I had stashed away from myself is mind-boggling. Like, where did I get this? Why is it in the back of a cupboard? A lot of that happened when I helped to empty my parents' house for my father's estate sale. There were items and nail polishes and various things that were things that I wasn't sure if I wanted or not, and I just couldn't deal with it, so I just took it and stashed it in a box somewhere and then forgot they were there, and now I'm going through it and being like, oh, yeah, I have, like I said, 4 cleansers. This was a moisturizer that was almost out, but there was, I mean, it was like this, you know? And so I was able to use that up. I like this one. It's not like anything to write home about for me personally. It's like a nice light moisturizer, but I know there are people who swear by it. I also ran out of this Herbal Essence Curl Boosting Mousse. I don't even remember when I bought this. My hair texture is a little bit weird. My mom has super curly hair. My dad had super straight hair. Mine is somewhere in between. And so I had this, but it's like a scrunch deal. And I actually don't love how it dries, so I'm not going to rebuy this. I'm not going to replace it, but it is nice to use it up, and it's so satisfying. I'm finding myself really enjoying how satisfying it is when I finish something and having it be the last one. Like, that's really satisfying to me, and I'm finding myself really enjoying that part of the process. I also used up this Murad Hydrodynamic Ultimate Moisture Sample. This is another thing that I got from my mom when we emptied out the house, and it was just a little thing to test, and it was nice. I enjoyed it, but I think I have other skincare products, that, like moisturizing products, that I like more. I have the Skin Fix Barrier Cream right now, and I'm actually really enjoying it. When I talk about how February has changed my skincare routine, I might talk about that. But so it was fine, it was nice, but I probably won't rebuy it. So one of the only makeup items that I ran out of this month is the, what is this? I believe it's a Maybelline. It's just in like an under eye concealer. It's not the best formula in the world, so I can't recommend this one. I will say I have a House Lab one, like a Lady Gaga House Lab one that I bought at the tail end of last year that I have been waiting to use because I have tested it and I know that the formula is so nice, and I couldn't use it because I had this. And so now this is gone and I can move over to that concealer that I'm very excited to try. This is also just a little bit light for me, I think. Like, it's, I don't know. I just was not super impressed with this particular formula. So it doesn't even have the label on it. Like, it's been through it, but it's very satisfying to have finished it and to have used it up. And now I can move on to the thing that I'm really excited about. The last item that I used up this month was the PCA Skin Retinol Treatment for sensitive skin, and I really enjoyed the use of this product. I really enjoyed it. So as I've said before, I have very sensitive skin, I have dry skin, and using retinol, especially easing into retinol, can be very difficult for people who have that issue. And so this one, it only has like 0.1% retinol, it's a really smooth delivery. I found it pretty easy to adjust to, and I really enjoyed it. I'm tempted to repurchase this, but I actually think that I may move up a little bit and get one with a slightly higher concentration. But I do recommend this if you have sensitive skin or dry skin. The PCA retinol treatment worked really, really well for me. So those are all the items that I used up in February. These are all of my empties for February. It's a short month, so there's not as many, but I am interested to see what I'll use up in March because I have a business trip, and so I have to be packing in like travel containers, and I have a number of events and stuff in March that I'm going to be going to, and so I'm interested to see what I end up using up. That being said, it was fun to see the different types of items I'm using each month. Last month I had a lot of skincare items that I used up. This month it was a bunch of body care, and I can't wait to see what the future holds. So here's to that, and here's to you manifesting magic in your own life. Have a great day.
You're just talking and suddenly you just see.
Excellent.